A playoffs out of reach for the Blue Jackets after Thursday's out-of-town scoreboard, and the Blue Jackets lost to the Avalanche. They just might be. We're going to talk about that on today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get things started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every single day. Locked On Blue Jackets continues to be free and available on all podcast platforms and over on YouTube. Now, no episode yesterday. Apologies for that. I have been dealing with the fact that I am 32 years old and threw my back out. But I've got an episode for you today, and we'll have another one tomorrow as well. So hopefully that will make up for it. We have to talk about the loss to the Avalanche. I know it's kind of not quite old news yet, but getting there. The Blue Jackets playoff hopes are looking fainter and fainter. And Toronto's in town, so that's going to be fun, I'm sure. But let's talk about the game versus the Avalanche first, because this was a game that you were in right up until you weren't, right? Like, the first period was frustrating, but not the end of the world. Second period, there was hope, right? Blue Jackets, it was 2-1 at the end of the first period, I think. Blue Jackets tie the game, take the lead on, was it the Boone Jenner goal, I think they took the lead with. And then after that, yeah, it was the Boone Jenner goal, the Johnson and Johnson double assist goal, which was fun. Things were looking good. Things were looking promising. We were like, oh, okay. Out-of-town scoreboards are not going in our favor. Detroit won. Montreal won, the Rangers won the night before. Like, the Blue Jackets had to gain ground, and we were like, okay, this was always going to be a tough game. Have they figured it out? And then they don't. It's 5-3 by the end of the first period, because here's the thing. The goaltending straight up was not good enough for the Blue Jackets. And I feel like I have been generous this season with talking about the goaltending, and I do think that the goaltending has improved. I think probably that's partially because the defense has improved and the Blue Jackets are scoring more goals. So they're going to make the goaltending look better, right? Like, if you're winning a game 6-4, that looks way better than if you're losing a game 4-2, right? But the fact of the matter is you're allowing 4 goals both times, and I have been one of the bigger defenders of Elvis this season, I feel like. He straight up was not good enough in this game. Hasn't been good enough for probably a couple of weeks now. Like, even in the games where they won, he still has looked like this was his third bad start in a row, despite the fact, okay, bad Elvis, March 28th versus Vancouver, Blue Jackets still got the win. April 1st against Nashville, Elvis had a bad game, still got the win. Last night, they didn't get the win. He allowed 6 goals on 20-something shots, 28 shots. And just, like I said, just straight up was not good enough. They put Tarasov in for the last 15 minutes. He faced exactly 4 shots. I don't know what, I don't know. The goaltending wasn't good enough. Just straight up, this was not the defense didn't have a great game, I don't think. The Branson and Johnson pairing was about what I thought it was going to be, which was not better than Severson Gabranson, but also not worse, which is probably a scathing indictment of how I feel about Severson at this point. Apologies to Jack Johnson, but Severson should be better than that. Not to comfort Severson in a game that he didn't even play in, but if Jack Johnson is an acceptable substitute for you as a player, then something's gone wrong, right? I thought Matejchuk and Provorov struggled. I thought Werenski and Fabro were fine, but not out of this world good. Like Cale Makar had a great game. That was one of the more frustrating things. Is this was Werenski versus Makar, right? And Werenski comes out of it. He played 27 minutes, had 4 shots on goal, no points, no goals, no assists, nothing. Cale Makar scored his 30th goal of the season, had 2 assists on top of that, and he only played 21 minutes. Like, frustrating. Blue Jackets had a real chance here. Obviously, the Avalanche didn't actually travel to Columbus until day of, which we thought might work in our favor. I guess not. But at the end of the day, you can put some blame on the defense. You can put some blame on the offense. Like scoring 3 goals on 30 shots is not like it's fine. Mackenzie Blackwood, very good goalie. Has been even better since coming to the Avalanche, which I'm unsurprised that he was. I am unsurprised that Mackenzie Blackwood has looks much better playing behind the Avalanche than he looks playing behind the Sharks, right? But 3 goals on 30 shots is average. It's fine. It should, in theory, be enough to win you a game, right? But it wasn't, and it was just a frustrating game for a lot of reasons, but like just wasn't good enough. Like the offense was fine. The defense was mediocre. The goaltending, awful. Like just it needed to be better. And that to me is the reason they lost this game, right? And I don't know that I've said that very much this season, if at all. Like I probably have said it because there have been games where the goaltending has lost them a game, but I don't know that there's been a game that has been 100%. Oh, if they had a better goalie, they would have won this game, right? Like because the fact of the matter is that they kept pace with the Avalanche in terms of shots on goal. They kept pace with them in terms of face-offs. The penalty kill wasn't great. Like special teams, the Avalanche won. The Blue Jackets didn't score a power play goal. The Avalanche got 1 out of the 2. Like they kept pace with the Avs for a lot of that game, and they were let down by the goaltending. Like 7 goals on 28 shots. It's not good enough. Like that's a goal every 4th shot. And I was mad about this to begin with. I am slightly less mad, I think, now that I have had the day to think about it. When I was stuck on the couch because I couldn't sit up for longer than 10 minutes yesterday. But like you had to keep pace. Like you have to win these games because the fact of the matter is, and we're going to talk about this in a second here, the teams around you in the race, they're winning games, right? Like again, we'll talk about the playoff race as a whole, but Blue Jackets lost that game. Ottawa won theirs. Montreal won theirs. Like I said, the Rangers won, I think, the night before that. Yep, Rangers won the night before that. Last night, Detroit won their game. The Islanders won their game. Like, yeah, teams around you are winning. It's still not like it's still very much like it's a little bit like no one wants this. The Canadians are the best team of the bunch. They've won 3 in a row, and they are 5-3-2 in their last 10 games. They're now 4 points ahead of the Blue Jackets with the game in hand. But like they're 5-3-2. Rangers 5-4-1. Red Wings 4-5-1. Islanders 4-4-2. Like you had a chance to really take advantage of the fact that no one around you seems to want to win a game either. But then they've decided that they all want to start winning. The Red Wings are now tied with the Blue Jackets in points. The Islanders are a point behind. Like it's very, very quickly getting out of hand. You have to stop the slide. You have to just like and I've talked about this before. Like just win a game. There's no moral victories. There's no, well, we did this well, but we didn't do this well, so we need to do this better next time. Just win the damn game, right? Let's talk about playoffs in just a second here at Locked On Blue Jackets. First, I'm going to tell you about 5-hour energy because daylight savings snuck up on us again. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5-hour energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you've been up late watching the NCAA tournament, whether you've been squeezing in a round of golf after work, enjoying that extra sunshine, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5-hour energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. I've been staying up late watching, basically all of the hockey, and 5-hour energy helps keep me up the next day. I have been really enjoying these longer days. I love going outside for a little walk, go for a run. Like, I love to work out outside. And 5-hour energy is giving me a big boost there as well. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, peach mango, tropical burst. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Or do you need one right now? Grab a 5-hour energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They are everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized at 5hourenergy.com. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. I talked about this a little bit before going into break. Playoffs are looking not hopeless, but not great, right? Like, they need basically every win they can get, right? If you're not going to win, force overtime, get a point. You're going to need help from out of town as well. Like, again, the Canadians are, just to run through the standings again, the Ottawa Senators are in that first wildcard spot. They got 86 points, 75 games played. Second wildcard spot, Canadians, 81 points, 75 games played. Rangers, just on the outside, 79 points in 75 games played. Blue Jackets, 77 points in 74 games. So, like, again, that game in hand is still there. You need to do something with it, though, because you're running out of time, space. There's 8 games left in the season for you. 7 games for all the teams around you. Red Wings, 77 points in 75 games played. Islanders, 76 points in 75 games played. So, like, between the Canadians and the Islanders, there's 5 points in it. Blue Jackets, 4 points out of the playoffs right now. Something that has been key and something that I have been frustrated about is the Blue Jackets I think they won once in their season against the Canadians. I think they won once in their series against the Rangers. They dropped a game to the Red Wings. They've dropped at least one game to the Islanders. They've still got one more game to play in that series. Dropped a game to the Penguins, who have kind of, again, fallen out of contention here. They're 9 points out of playoffs right now with 6 games left to play for them. Like, you've dropped a game to the Ottawa Senators. I think you won once against the Devils. Like, these are the teams that you've been competing with, right? And I think the only team in this group that you had a positive season series against is like Detroit and, technically Pittsburgh if we expand to include them. You could split the season series with the Islanders. I think you've won twice and lost once to them. So you can still win that one. You can go 3-1, and you need to win that game against the Islanders. Like, you need to win the game against the Flyers. You need to win the game against the Sabres. But, like, you've got 2 games against the Ottawa Senators. They're going to be tough. You're playing the Leafs tonight. We'll talk about that in a minute here. Like, when you look at that versus the Canadians' remaining schedule, I think the Canadians, if they win 4 of their last 7 games, they're in. Blue Jackets would need to go like 6-1-1 or 7-1, 7-2, whatever it is. 7-1 it would be to make the playoffs. It's simply not happening, right? You need out of town luck, but you also need to start winning games. And I have been in the past, I have been a big proponent of moral victories, and maybe that's because the team's not winning on the ice, you might as well win where it, like, in the little ways, of like, oh, well, I said it a lot last season, right? Of, well, they're not winning, but so-and-so is developing. I think Cole Sillinger had a really strong season last year. They're not winning, but Adam Fantilli looks like a star. Or they're not winning, but Dmitry Vronkov is having a great rookie season. Or they're not winning, but, right? And I'm kind of, this season, I started out with that. And now I'm kind of done with it. You can't, if you're going to play well enough to win, then win. They didn't play well enough to win on Thursday, but there have been games this season where they've played well enough to win and haven't. And now you're kind of sitting here, like the Ottawa Senators game, I think, is a really good example of this. Of, oh, well, that was a really great game. It was really evenly matched. You played well enough to win. I don't know that you played, I don't know that the Senators played badly enough to lose that game. Like, it wasn't, oh, one team got lucky and the other one didn't. I think it was just, it was a very tightly matched game that didn't go the Blue Jackets' way, right? But you can't sit here and talk about moral victories anymore. You can't do it. Just win. Like, you were never supposed to be here, but now you are, right? And if the season wraps up in a couple of weeks and the Blue Jackets are on the outside looking in, then we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about, what this team achieved and how they overachieved and what we expect for them going forward. But as of right now, all you got to do is win. April 5th. When was the last time you were playing meaningful games in April, in March, in February, in January? We've been talking about it all season long, right? You're playing, but ostensibly, you're going to be playing meaningful hockey all the way to the end of the season or until you get eliminated. Just win. Win tonight, move on. Win tomorrow, move on. Like, the Canadians, I don't believe, have a game tonight. I might be wrong about that. They are. They're playing Montreal. Sorry, they're playing Philadelphia tonight. If Philadelphia wins that game and the Blue Jackets win tonight, suddenly, okay, you've got your 2 points. 2 points in it. Win tomorrow, you've tied. You've got the same amount of points, same amount of games played, different game, right? You just got to take it game by game. You can't look at it and be like, well, we need to, and, maybe this is kind of the antithesis to what I've been saying for the last 6 minutes, but just win a game, move on. Yes, you might have to go 6-1 or 6-2 or whatever it is to win that final playoff spot. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's going to be tough, especially with the goaltending as it is. And God, we are due a good Elvis game. We are so due a good Elvis game. I don't know what's going to happen with the goaltending. I don't know who you start tonight. I don't know if you can start Elvis tonight. Do you start Tarasov? Hope for the best. Do you start Elvis and give him a chance to reset? Do you call up Jet Greaves and see what happens there? I think no, mostly because the Monsters are in their own playoff fight right now and they need Jet Greaves. And we'll talk about goaltending in a minute when we talk about how to beat Toronto, but win tonight's game. Move on. If you get the goaltending, if you get the lucky bounces, someone mentioned it on Twitter last night, maybe sometime yesterday. You get to the point where some of these teams are going to start resting guys, right? Toronto is locked in. Ottawa, you're going to face top guys, but the Capitals, what happens if, knock on wood, Ovechkin hits the goal record tonight against the Islanders or against the Hurricanes on Tuesday, I think it is. What happens if he hits the goal record before then? They've locked in. They're basically a guarantee to win the East. They're probably not going to win the President's Trophy, but since that's cursed anyway, they're probably not going to they probably don't want to do that. But what happens if Ovi hits the goal record? Do they start resting guys? Do they start resting Ovechkin for the playoffs? Again, the Leafs, probably not at that point yet, but do these teams start resting their top guys, knowing that they have playoff spots? essentially locked up. You know, maybe not, but all you can do is focus on the game in front of you and then move on to the next game. You know, you can't sit here and worry about the fact that you've got to play Washington twice next weekend. That's a problem for future Blue Jackets, right? On that note, let's talk a little bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Blue Jackets played well against them this season. Let's talk about how they can sweep that season series in just a second here on Locked On Blue Jackets. First, I've got to tell you about FanDuel, because the NCAA tournament is here. It's almost time for the final games, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 that you can use on everything from underdogs to Cinderella stories to buzzer beaters, even who's cutting down the net. We're down to, I believe, the final 4 teams, and FanDuel is making it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. There's always something exciting to bet on, and the app is super easy to use. When I win, I get paid instantly, so there's no waiting around. Just visit FanDuel.com, but use your first $5 bet, and when it wins, get $200 in bonus bets. Get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. Big game tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Blue Jackets, like I said, have played well against the Leafs, but that's when the Blue Jackets were playing well. They won their first game 6-2 back on October 22nd. They won their second game 5-1 on January 22nd. It's the final game of the season. I believe actually they're in Toronto for it. They're not in Columbus. So playing on the road, it's going to be tough. Leafs are, well, they've got guys playing like they're in contract years at the minute, which they do, right? John Tavares has 9 points in his last 5 games, including 6 goals. Mitch Marner has 6 assists in his last 5 games. Mitch Marner, I believe, is leading the team in scoring. He's got 93 points this season, which is incredible. Again, contract year makes sense. William Nylander, 80 points. John Tavares, 70 points. Austin Matthews, a quote-unquote down year, has 69 points, including 29 goals, which feels insane that he's got almost 30 goals, and you're like, yeah, that's not great for Austin Matthews, which is, kind of wild. But I don't know that they necessarily have things to prove, but the thing about Toronto is they are currently in a dogfight with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers to for the winner of the Atlantic Division. Whoever gets to face, probably it's going to be the Ottawa Senators, instead of having to face each other. Like, the Battle of Florida would be fun. Florida versus Toronto would be fun. Like, Florida versus Tampa would be fun, but like Ottawa Senators feel like the easy option there, right? So if you win the Atlantic, then you get to do that. Then obviously you've got to face whatever happens with the Metro later on. But again, that's a problem for future you. Leafs currently leading the Atlantic. They got 96 points. Tampa Bay in second with 93. Florida in third with 92. Still a lot of games to play there, but Toronto is 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now. They just beat Florida, which is key because, again, you're facing off against them. The thing about the Leafs is the Blue Jackets, I think, got lucky-ish with the goaltending that they faced. So in both of their games that they played against the Leafs, they got to face Dennis Hildeby, who is a very good AHL goalie. He's their third-string guy, has a lot of promise, but the Blue Jackets have not yet faced either of the Maple Leafs' top goalies. Joseph Woll has a 906 save percentage and 25 wins on the season. Anthony Stolarz, the backup, has a 920. Like, both of these guys have been excellent for the Leafs. They have a decent tandem for the first time in what feels like a billion years, maybe ever. And the Blue Jackets don't. Like, again, Elvis has an 891. Tarasov has an 883. Like, throw whichever goalie you want in net, and they're not going to be as good as the goalie that Toronto decides to put in, right? My guess is that they'll probably play Joseph Wall. I don't know off the top of my head if Toronto, I don't believe played last night, but again, I've been wrong before and will be wrong again. They did not play last night, and they don't play tomorrow. So my guess is it's going to be Joseph Wall in net. See if the Blue Jackets can figure out how scoring works. And the Blue Jackets have, like, since that goal drought that they went through, where they just completely forgot how to score goals, they have, in fairness, like, done an okay job at scoring goals in the past handful of games. Like, okay, they got outscored 7-3, but like, in a vacuum, scoring 3 goals a game is, above average, I would say. They scored 8 goals against the Predators on Tuesday in that win. It's been, if you even it out, 11 goals over the past 2 games. That's great. Obviously that's not how it works, but the Blue Jackets have figured out how to score goals again, which is good. The power play has slowly been improving. The penalty kill has very slowly been improving. Kromachenko has heated back up. He's got 6 goals in his last 5 games, including a hat trick. Werenski 5 assists in his last 5 games. Again, those 2 guys are where the offense is coming from. Sean Monahan has been great since his return. He's got 49 points in 46 games now, which I think, if I'm doing the math correctly, in the 5 games since he's returned from injury, he's got 8 points in those 5 games. Boone Jenner has 18 points in 8 games. He's got 6 goals in his past 5 games, I want to say. He has 6 goals in his past 6 games, excuse me. He only had 2 assists against Nashville. But, like, the offense is figuring it out, right? The problem is going to be defense. The problem is going to be stopping guys like William Nylander from scoring, who I believe is leading the team in goals. Yeah, he's got 42 goals. John Tavares has 36 goals at the age of a billion, however old he is, 34. So not like quite a billion years old, but like, he's got more goals than however old he is, which is impressive when you are 34 years old, right? Again, Austin Matthews on a down year has almost 30 goals. Matthew Nyes has 26 goals. Mitch Marner, 24 goals. Bobby McMahon, 20 goals. Like, they've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 20-goal scorers, just like the Blue Jackets. Or, excuse me, they've got 6 20-goal scorers, counting McMahon. I can do math, it's fine. That's going to be the issue here, right? Is if you get stuck in, not necessarily like a track meet, let's say, but if you get stuck in a goal scoring competition, then are you going to be able to keep it together? Are you going to be able to outscore a team like Toronto, who scores, it seems, basically at will? That being said, they only score, so the Blue Jackets score 3.23 goals per game. The Leafs only score 3.25 goals per game. Now, their power play is 5th best in the league. So, again, the drum that I've been banging for the past, God, it feels like months, the last little while here, keep it to even strength. The Blue Jackets are one of the best even strength teams in the league. Special teams are what lets them down, right? Whether that's taking penalties, drawing penalties, I don't care. Don't do it. We don't want anything to do with penalties. Keep this game at even strength, and you will have a fighting chance. If you want to take a billion penalties, I don't know that that's going to work in your favor. Even if you figure out the power play, you're still a better team at even strength than you are on the power play, which is frustrating in so many ways, but it's just also kind of the truth, right? That's the big thing for me, or like those are the 2 big things, is you need your goaltending to be good, which is an ask at the minute. We have to be due a good Elvis game. We do. Again, he's been up and down all season, but if we get, I don't think we've ever had more than 3 bad Elvis games in a row. So I don't know whether you start him tonight, whether you throw Neil Tarasov in. You probably even odds on. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, which goalie would I rather they start? And I don't know what the answer is, which is kind of the problem, right? I don't think either goalie is going to put you in a position to succeed right now. And that's the frustrating for so many reasons. But like, and again, if it comes to the end of the season and the Blue Jackets are on the outside looking in, we'll take a really good look at the goaltending and try and figure out what's going on there and how they can fix that if they can fix it. Anyway, you need your goaltending to be better than Toronto's, and you need to play the game at 5-on-5. Stay out of the box. Don't draw penalties. I know that's kind of, again, you can't really help whether someone takes a penalty on you or not, but it's in your best interest to keep this at 5-on-5, and try not to allow 7 damn goals. Easy, right? In terms of predictions, this is a tough one because obviously the Blue Jackets have been extremely lucky against the Maple Leafs so far this season. They've also been good. It's not like it's been 6-5 final scores like some other, games that we've seen. It was a 6-2 victory and then a 5-1 victory. So like they've had good goaltending and good defense in these games as well. They've just benefited from less good goaltending for the Leafs, right? So in terms of predictions, let's say a 4-2 win for the Blue Jackets. We've got like 8 games left in the season, and again, betting against them feels bad, and I will continue to bet for them, which is maybe not in my favor, if I go to Vegas or whatever, but does make me feel better inside. So let's say a 4-2 Blue Jackets win. We'll include an empty netter in that because why not? And then goal scoring. I bet on. I think I didn't obviously end up recording the pre-game episode because I threw it back out and couldn't set up for long enough. But I believe I had Kromachenko as my choice to score a goal against the Avalanche. He didn't do that. I'm gonna go back. Okay. Hey, you know what? Let's go Adam Fantilli. Blue Jackets are in Toronto. Adam Fantilli has a hat trick against Toronto already in Toronto. Let's go ahead and let's pencil an Adam Fantilli goal in tonight. I think that will be fun and necessary. So let's go ahead and say that. So 4-2 Blue Jackets win with an Adam Fantilli goal. Let's get after it. That's all I've got for today. Tomorrow we'll break down tonight's game, the good, the bad, the ugly, etc., etc. We'll look ahead to the Ottawa Senators, how the Blue Jackets can beat them, what they didn't do last time that they could do this time, all of that good stuff. And until then, thank you for listening, making us your first listen of the day every single day. I've been Jay Foster. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOB FORSTER. You can find the show at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. We are free and available on all podcast platforms over on YouTube. Thank you once again for listening. Until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.